Okay.
I don't feel like reciting the whole thing. I think I can get as far as like through most of the first verse. First verse. Sounds like I'm German talking about sausages.
Oh boy. Nothing like getting ready for a thing. Wolf will be here in about 10 minutes, I think.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I did start a little early, but
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Dragon, I would watch the stream, but I get banned over there too much. Banana land. Alright.
Apparently now it's my 4-month anniversary.
Just subscribe for 4 months in a row. What?
Even though my 3-month was yesterday.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder why I did that.
It probably was trying to tell me that it was my 3-month for like a month.
Right? Alright, let's see. Everything. Make sure all the things are popping up. Hey everybody, we are live.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. We started a little early tonight, but that's okay.
We're missing part of the cast still.
Yeah. Tonight's topic's gonna be an interesting one. I know Wolf has been like careening with his friends at work for topics.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, man. Woot. So I was wondering what people were gonna think about for tomorrow.
I mean, I could just set up Mortal Kombat.
I can't play Mortal Kombat.
I know, because you don't have it.
Yeah. Alright, so who do we got so far? You.
Me.
Yeah. Yas.
I will click the loots button, give myself money without paying money.
Yeah, unfortunately the payout for that is few and far between compared to bits, but hey, a little bit helps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully once we get like a nice good going with what we're doing, making that $100 payout a month would come quicker.
Mm-hmm. If I started streaming consistently.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, when you're planning a wedding, things get in the way. I wonder why.
Well, things are gonna change once I move, so we'll figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Then how to get that stuff.
If it weren't for the fact that we have to be interactive and talk with people, I would just throw on the stream every time I play. But I am not interactive or talkative, except for swearing most of the time when I play.
Really, you gotta start that now, parents.
That's a good thing I have headphones in, otherwise my dogs might be like, "Whoa? Is that an eat? I'm going to jump through the computer and get the eat."
They've had these animals for how many years? And they still haven't figured out that plastic is not diggable.
I think they might do it to wear down their claws.
Probably. They also like to bench press their litter box, and
I am mighty. I can heave my
if you stick the oh, what the hell is going on here? And if you stick the their food anywhere other than the ground floor, they will spill it and knock it over like a fucking cat.
This is not my prescribed food location, dearest sainted mother.
There's still food all over the floor too. Lou, get your ass over here so we can talk about Filmosophy things.
I see a leg. I no longer see a leg.
A leg?
Yes. There's a very slight stream delay, so I can see your legs occasionally. When you gotta reach for some shit.
Oh. It sounds like... It's like, how the fuck do you see my leg? I'm sitting down. half my body is cut off.
You see, I just increased the field of view.
Hey!
Yes, I know how to increase the field
fox.
of view on a camera that I do not own.
Okay. No. I swear their pets are blind too, because they don't stare right at things. They like kind of gaze in a direction. Let's see. We were talking about foreign film adaptations. I know that.
So when the stream gets properly started, we'll be talking about things like The Ring, The Grudge, The Dwayne, and that's what all about.
Good film adaptations and bad film adaptations.
I can only think of one really good one off the top of my head. We can save that for when our other person is here. In the meantime, I'm going to fill dead air with my Mortal Kombat hype because...
Combat hype.
Because, full disclosure, anybody looking forward to seeing me tomorrow, I probably won't be here. Because, I'm not going to miss out on an opportunity to get a game I just bought. That would be fucking dumb.
Wait, didn't you already get it though? Weren't you playing with Mags the other night?
No, that was Mortal Kombat X. Mortal Kombat 11 doesn't come out until tomorrow.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, like the physical release got some retail release stuff, but like a lot of the online stuff doesn't work yet.
Gotcha.
Like the DLC, like the day one DLCs don't work or whatever.
Right.
So, which would be a bummer for me anyway, because I plan on maining Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn.
Because I want to teach all of my friends that play the game with me a very important lesson. Just 2 little words. You suck!
Oh, boy.
It's funny because he's he does something that I've always wanted a fighting game character to do. And that's when he taunts you, he actually more powerful. Rather than just like, lol, I'm going to be a dick. It's like, I'm going to be a dick, and if you don't fuck me up for being a dick, it's going to hurt a lot. So if he gets through the whole taunt animation, he gets like bonus damage or like reduced incoming damage depending on what taunt he does. Or like if he lands a hit right after someone tries to come in and attack him, it does like an extra 50% damage or some crazy bullshit. It's amazing. He's also a turn your brain off kind of character. The best kind.
Yeet.
Yeah!
Kind of regretted I started so fucking early. I didn't realize I was 10 minutes starting, but oh well. Here we are.
Well, on the bright side, it gives us time to warm up our voices.
Voices.
Or, as I just said, voices.
Voices. Interesting that it gave you the resub, but didn't play the music.
That's because I had to provide the music myself. I'm playing on expert mode.
There you go.
There we go.
I might change my alerts up a little bit, but did you stop doing that?
No. For shits and giggles, let's see if it's live. Nope, not released yet.
Well, it's not until midnight your time, you said, isn't it?
Yeah, because they decided to do it like that rather than what GameStop does, where it's like, oh, whatever it is, EST, and then we'll just release it like blah blah. On a Mortal Kombat related note, I just remembered the greatest fucking thing. In Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, if you repeatedly miss Scorpion's spear throw, he will get an unblockable flaming version. And rather than saying, get over here, he'll be like, get the fuck over here, bitch!
I remember that. Get
It
the
is
fuck over
beautiful. Here. Get over here, bitch! And
Do I hear Wolf coming now?
I want to mod that into standard play, so every time I use it, every time I use Scorpion Spear, I just hear, get the fuck over here!
I just walked in. Chill.
No!
We were talking about like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
You know
In
what's funny?
Shaolin Monks, there was a...
Shaolin Monks
as I was
one.
telling Ellie, as I was telling Ellie, there is a Easter egg in Shaolin Monks where if you missed with Scorpion Spear enough times, you got an unblockable flaming version, and his dialogue changed to, get the fuck over here, bitch!
Nice. That
Right.
blends well with. Didn't he make Freddy Krueger like an unlockable character?
Oh yeah, he was DLC in Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's what I thought. So yeah, that's perfect. That ties in perfectly with him.
And then in Mortal Kombat X, they had Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, the Xenomorph, and the Predator.
Didn't they add Michael Myers in one of them too?
Nope, you're probably thinking of Terrordrome,
Ah.
which is the greatest thing. Terrordrome, for the uninitiated, is a fighting game composed entirely of classic horror characters. It is great.
I do remember that, yeah. So we're doing foreign film adaptations.
Yes. Foreign films being redone in America or concepts like that, and just also like other story concepts that are done from other country perspectives. Because I was thinking about this topic, and I was trying to think about like movies that I've seen that were foreign adaptations that I saw, and one of the ones that came to mind was that stop motion version of Alice in Wonderland that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, or the Czechoslovakian one that I mentioned? Yeah,
one.
where the freaking bunny rabbit's eating his insides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that last stream while you were in the bathroom before we ended it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's actually, because it's easy to come up with movie topics for. Here is a Japanese movie that the Americans ruined. But it's
Said
much more
before.
fun to come up with a bunch of, okay, here's some classic stories from other places. I like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then there's the concepts that get lost in adaptation too. Like I think a good example would be Battle Royale. It's not a direct remake or reimagining, but everyone's made the parallel between Battle Royale and Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So that's essentially the same story right there.
Okay, I'm going to steal a joke from Lyle McDouchebag here. You want to know the first dropping of the ball in the Hunger Games? It is a story about children forced to kill each other in a gladiatorial arena in an event called the Hunger Games, and it has nothing to do with cannibalism.
Yeah.
That is a fucking dropping of the ball.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
I mean,
It is based off a book based on dropping the ball.
I mean, I get it why they called it that, but because the whole point of winning was to get food.
Yeah.
Yes, but if your first thought is, okay, this thing is called, has hunger in the title, and people are forced to kill each other, and you don't immediately think Soylent Green, you are just boring. You are a boring human.
Soylent Green. But yeah, the worst offender on this topic you were saying is the horror movies.
Oh, yes.
We can all probably rattle off very similar lists. The Eye, The Ring, Dark
Grudge.
Water, The Grudge.
All of them starting with the. Let the right one in.
Yes, that was the next one on my list.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Except that one is actually getting good adaptations now. I'm okay with this.
It is, yes, but
Because they realized,
Zilla.
oh yes, the 1990s one was, oh.
I don't know how... No, go on.
No, it was just looped footage of a lizard running around the streets of Manhattan or something. It was so glorious. They used the Godzilla roar like once.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And they faked the ability to breathe fire or whatever, energy he has because they blew up a helicopter right in front of its mouth.
And then they had the scene that was definitely inspired by Jurassic Park with all the babies.
Mm-hmm.
Raptors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a toy box around this apartment somewhere full of Godzilla toys from when that movie came out.
And then they made an animated cartoon.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, the cartoon was infinitely better because they realized, what do the people want to see when they see a Godzilla thing? They want to see giant monsters beat the fuck out of each other.
Right.
Watch some shit blow up.
I don't know how up you are on your what's the company? It's Toho has Godzilla, right?
Toho?
Yes.
Yeah. Toho has made within the last 10 years, I think. They made a Godzilla movie where they actually bought the rights away from that 99 version of Godzilla just to have proper Godzilla kill that Godzilla.
Yes, it was a Final Wars, I think it was.
Is that it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Where, they had him they had Godzilla throw him into the Sydney Opera House and then blow it up.
Yes.
I have not actually seen that. I have to
I just know the clip, but I would love to see the whole movie.
Yeah.
Basically, the concept of Final Wars was kind of like the Avengers, where it's like, okay, let's just have every goddamn movie we've ever made fight.
Awesome.
It is glorious. It's like, okay, theoretically, if this was the last Godzilla movie, how would we do it? Okay, I have a plan. What are we going to do? Everything. Everything.
That reminds me, I think my dad probably still has it for the Xbox original because I gave him my Xbox original. We got the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters game.
Where, I remember
I remember when that game came out.
And we would always play the destruction mode where you had to destroy the cities as fast as possible and then beat the crap out of each other. Always had fun with that.
And then they made one for the PS4 that looked like it belonged on the PS2 and was just a worse version of that.
Yeah. What's another movie that foreign film that had American adaptation? Well, okay, martial arts films.
Yeah.
They do suffer from it a fair bit.
Some are okay, some are good.
Well, it's
oddly with a lot of them, it kind of has the charming the old school style where it's they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have a budget, so they had to grab whoever off the street to try and dub it over on the fly.
So all the Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah, stuff like that. That was fine. That was fun because it was product of its time. But then you have stuff where people try and do American martial arts movies, the remake of the Karate Kid, where it was actually
Jackie
the Kung
Chan
Fu
version?
Kid.
Yeah, that should have been the Kung Fu Kid. That
would have been an infinitely cooler name because you would immediately you can say, okay, it's a reimagining. It's something different. They aren't trying to just cash in on the old name. They're trying to follow up on it, do something fun.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it was still dog shit, but
you look at the two actors that they had. Jackie Chan is a proud Chinese man and loves representing his country and his heritage.
Yeah,
and you can say the same thing about Pat Morita. He was very proud Japanese. So it's you had the fact that they were using the same name over again. It was almost more insulting.
On that note, I do fucking love Jackie Chan.
Oh yes.
Like the drunken master is my favorite
Oh.
fucking concept.
Oh,
Just
God.
the
I
more
love the Drunken
fucking
Master.
blitzed he gets. Like he drinks battery acid at one point and he gives him superpowers. It's amazing.
Well,
Like fucking
what do three
battery
spells
acid
mean? Good
homemade
stuff.
moonshine.
oh yeah. Well, there's another one. I can't remember what. I think it was called the Little Big Prince or something like that. Jackie Chan was in it, but like one guy was tied to another guy's back, and
I
they
love
had to
shit
fight like that. Jackie Chan was in it, and they were stuck like that because of some kind of a mishap.
Could have been, yeah.
I mean, there was also the one guy there was also the one martial arts film with the one guy who had no legs and one guy who had no arms, and they were tied to each other. And
I
that's
remember
how
that.
they
That
had to-
was-
Oh man, I just remembered a movie. I need to figure out what the fuck it was called because it had like a little pudgy like American kid going to ancient China or something, dealing with like Journey to the West and stuff. But then it had for primary characters Jet Li and Jackie Chan together fucking with each other the entire movie.
Forbidden
Oh,
Kingdom.
Forbidden Kingdom.
Yes.
What a terrible disappointment of a movie that was.
Yes, but we got to have Jet Li and Jackie Chan
Chan.
beating the fuck out of each other. And
Once.
you know they did it for reals.
Once. That was the
That's all.
problem. They played up the idea that
Yeah.
it was Jackie Chan and Jet Li together, and we were all so excited for it. And then we got one like half decent fight scene, and that was it.
Mm,
That was the same kid from Sky High.
yeah, yeah, it was the same kid from Sky High. I can't understand what you're saying. That's because you're not listening.
Yeah, Jackie was basically playing Uncle in that movie.
Yeah, he was playing Uncle. Oh, apparently they're redoing that,
Yeah, I saw that
They're
that thing online.
bringing back
Jackie Chan Adventures. I was just thinking about that show the other day.
Bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day.
The thing I remember the most about Jackie Chan Adventures was the one episode where they had the hopping vampire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That shit was good.
What was it? Spring Hill Jack, I think? Or is that a different episode?
that's a completely different legend from a completely different culture.
No, but that was a thing that happened in one of the episodes. They did an episode with like where they made like a Spring Hill Jack character.
Yang Shi,
Oh, okay, yeah.
the Chi vampire.
Okay, now I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where did I put my? Is it still in?
Yeah,
Probably.
they hop around and like they hunt by sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me
That-
check my jacket pocket. Because ow.
Stop hurting yourself.
Did I leave it over here?
I don't know.
Okay, I did. I'm gonna pull up the image of the character. I know it was a thing. This Jackie Chan Adventures Spring Hill Jack.
Well, while you're doing that,
But movies,
I can't see. I haven't watched a lot of like adaptions of other films because there's not too many. I mean,
well, I mean, yeah,
technically
we know all
every
those-
Disney movie is a adaptation of a foreign
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna bring up when you first thought of it. It's like okay,
foreign story.
you have basically Disney's entire catalog, and then you have all the spoof or reimaginings of that.
So he's a leprechaun, not the actual Spring Heel Jack, which is different. But okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they gave him the accent and everything. It was-
Yeah, yeah.
it was a thing. I proved it. Okay. Yeah. But all right. So, using the horror movies as our best example, it's there is something that goes horribly wrong, being Americanized, and it's like it's a very common. Like I think The Ring was probably the only really No, I like Let the Right One In. That was what was it? That was that wasn't Russian. That wasn't Japanese.
I think it was Polish.
Polish? I thought it was like Hungarian or something. But
That's why we have the power of Google.
yeah, but the American version of that wasn't too bad. The Ring was probably the most successful Japanese horror movie adaptation that I can really think of, though, because Dark Water fell apart. Swedish, yes, it was. Thank you.
Dark Water.
Dark Water fell apart. The Grudge was not that great. The Eye with Jessica Alba. Like,
for some reason, Devil comes to mind, but I know that wasn't an adaptation. That was just a bad horror
that was just
movie
a bad idea.
in an elevator.
Love in an elevator.
But what is it about the Americanizing that you think makes it fall apart?
Subtlety or lack thereof.
I couldn't have said that better.
True.
Because with the Japanese horror, the way they do it is they don't have like there's the big creepy atmosphere and then something spooky is going to come out of the dark, dingy, spooky, scary place. There's something subtly wrong with an everyday space. Walking down the street, in the office, in your house. Something is slightly amiss, something that builds dread, something that drives the characters slowly mad. So you can't tell if something's actually coming after them or if they've just lost their marbles.
Yeah.
Oh, pissing blimey, this jam, come here on the walls.
That's one of the most effective kinds of horror where you can't tell if your character's actually on the level.
Psychological horror.
Like In the Mountains of Madness,
Yeah.
or the Sam Neill movie with her In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah. Forgot about that one.
Well, I mean, to talk about I know I talked about this in other videos on unlockable content, but I used the what was that movie, The Forest, the Japanese Suicide Forest, that movie that came out. Basically, the prerequisite for Logan Paul.
Oi.
But that movie was horribly predictable, lacked subtlety for the most part, except for one great moment that I love raving about, where the girl is walking through the forest with her male counterpart. They come across a stream and they see a body float down the water, and they say, okay, if we follow the water, we can get out of the forest. We can that'll lead us to civilization.
Yeah.
And as soon as they agree that that's what they're going to do, they start walking in two different directions. And she says, "What are you doing? We're supposed to follow the river." He says, "Yeah, it goes this way." And she looks back at the river, and the river changed directions.
Huh.
And I was so excited by that moment because it was so genuinely creepy and engrossing and like so just mind fuck that I actually said in the theater, "Yes, more of that." The movie was so bad.
This is kind of going off of horror movies, but into more like thriller movie. Day Watch and Night Watch were pretty good. I actually have I think either one of those two hidden away, and they were foreign films about like the light and darkness kind of thing.
Right.
So you had like the two houses, the houses of day, the house of night was like the vampires, the demons, blah blah blah. The house of day were like the fairies and stuff like that. In like modern day times, right. And he was kind of he was part of the Watch, which are kind of mediaries of the two. And they had that was a good like foreign film because it kind of did the thing that John Wick did. It had like the stylized subtitles where it like the words moved with the movie a little bit. So if like while they're talking, if like a glass would break, like the subtitles would kind of like shatter in that direction. And
that's
kind of
awesome.
I'll have to watch it with you sometime.
Yeah,
I do have it.
I need to sit through that.
It was really good.
I think a common one that we can all agree to was, and makes for a good talking point, was the Netflix Deathnote adaptation.
Oh my god!
Look, we can all agree that it was terrible.
Japan doesn't even do good live action adaptations of their own stuff, let alone Americanized ones.
But that's there's definitely something that goes wrong. The big issue with that one, and especially with trying to do anime adaptation in particular, is that there's so much going on that you can't cover everything in a single movie, but they try to just hit the beats.
The other thing that tends to happen when people try and do adaptations of anything, whether it be a book, a movie, an anime, video game, whatever, is they try and say, okay, we're going to put our own spin on this thing, so it's not going to be exactly like the old one. But here's the thing. If you're not going to be making something that is basically the old property, why couldn't you have just made your own property? Because now you're just setting it up to be a disappointment to the fans, the people you're supposed to be marketing this to, the people who you are making this specifically to get money out of.
Filmmakers, case in point, if you're going to do something like that, do what Fluff said. Also, get a translator and pronounce the names fucking right.
Oh, God.
Ong!
Thank you.
That was a fucking...
I was
that
thinking
wasn't
about
even a
that.
foreign adaptation. That was literally an American animation done.
You've got...
And they still fucked it up.
You've got fucking source material on DVD!
That's what even more annoying. It was an American animation that pronounced the names, that came up with the names themselves, and they still couldn't pronounce it when they made a live action adaptation.
That's another thing I bring up a lot is so many people still have this idea that if it's not a live action Hollywood movie, it doesn't count as proper entertainment.
Oh,
That's
what,
why you get,
the people
why
that
you get
discount animation as childish to begin with.
why do you play video games? That stuff's just for kids. Why do you read comic books? That stuff's just for kids. Why don't you watch a real adult movie like Christopher Robin?
Neil Gaiman would have a word with you.
Yeah.
I know. It's
Every Deadpool comic would have a word with you.
All right, Mom, my childish cartoons are going to go in here. I'm going to watch Heavy Metal, Watership Down,
Elven Lied.
Elfin Lied.
It's pronounced Lead, by the way.
Elven Lied, yeah.
Elfin Lied. Bible Black.
Yes, my wonderful children's animations with dick girls and demon worship.
Yeah, but it's a cartoon. It's okay.
It's a children's cartoon.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. It's just papers drawing circles. Calm down.
Okay, Ellie.
And in the downtime, I'm going to play some Twisted Metal X.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, now is a perfect time for me to boot up Postal 2. Perfect family-friendly fun. The family-friendly game where you can set people on fire and then save them by pissing them out. It's like, oh no, you need to get... This is a stealth section. You need to apply a silencer to your gun, or a cat.
I'm going to just shove a cat at the end of the gun.
That's... So you just have... Meow! 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 And then once you empty a magazine, it flies off like a grenade.
So messed up. So many things wrong with it.
Sausage party.
Save a tree! Burn a book!
God damn it.
But you were it was funny what you were saying about like the the characters, just like the paper fucking drawing.
Thank you for the follow, ABC1, ABC1A.
Yes, thank you.
Interesting name.
It's very alphabetical.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Do, 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 do.
I have a CDO, so I can appreciate that.
Right.
But no, it's the character. You remember this? It was a bunch of the anime nerds in college were having a big fight in the student lounge about which characters could win in a fight.
Round 1, fight!
So, but they were getting so loud that it was really like becoming a problem. So I remember I just stormed into the computer lab off of the student lounge, and I just yelled I was like, "All right, you all need to stop. I can defeat all of these characters because they are drawings. I will fly to Japan, rip the paper, I win." And it broke everyone. They started laughing except for one person, and it was Mr. One Piece himself, you remember.
Oh my god.
I have the power of God and anime on my side!
We knew a kid in college, he was so obsessed with One Piece, he would have sucked every inch of Luffy's expandable dick.
Yeah.
Nice kid, don't get me wrong, just didn't...
He just really liked dick.
Yeah.
He also had, like, Urkel voice.
He was like chubby Urkel. That's the best way to describe him, actually. Yeah.
Actually, I mean, same person, but he had like Saturday morning cartoon Sonic Urkel voice.
Can I do that?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I see you.
The one thing I cannot just erase from my brain was the common thing that he would say to everything, and that's when I found out Nami had the One Piece all along. Like, he would say that to every fucking thing. Yokai, what's up?
Welcome.
It's become a tangent talk now, but
Yeah, it really kind of has.
It's okay.
So yeah, but
Every episode is a tangent talk.
pretty much.
we do. Yeah, none of us can stay on topic. But
Welcome to the Waffle Hour.
actually, because I was in the bathroom and you haven't uploaded it to YouTube yet. What made you talk about that Czechoslovakian version of
Oh, because we were discussing what we were going to talk about today.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about Filmosophy, and that came apart because it creeped Bunny out so much. But yeah, the one annoying part where, especially when you're watching the American version, was the mega close up of Alice's mouth.
Yeah, it's the one annoying part which lasts the entire movie.
Said the rabbit.
Said the rabbit. Said Alice.
Said the Mad Hatter.
Stop it! We don't need to know. We know who's talking.
Honest to God, if you could, I thought about doing this, downloading a copy of it, cutting out all of those close-ups of her mouth, and then repiecing it together, and it would be an amazing movie. Because the stop motion is incredible. It is.
And it was creepy as fuck.
It's creepy as fuck, but it's creepy in all the right ways. It is a wonderful version of Alice in Wonderland.
I think Chad actually had an edited out version of it.
Oh God, that would make it so much better.
When we watched it,
But
Bunny refuses to watch it because she gets nightmares.
Alice in Wonderland is kind of creepy by default.
True.
But that's a prime example of,
Everyone talks about like, oh hey, this is such an edgy, creepy version of Alice in Wonderland. Isn't it so creepy compared to the original? It's like, wasn't the original like a love letter to a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
It's hard to beat that.
It's inherently fucked.
It is inherently fucked.
Kind of like the 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, that's most of the fairy tales, really.
But it's a perfect example because that's a British story.
He walks into the woods, eaten by wolves.
Sent out every which way.
Eaten by wolves.
Or like The Wonderful World of Peter Rabbit. Where
Because
it's like one of those things where these are very subtle, nice cartoons. Also, here's a cat that wandered into the chimney and is about to be baked alive by rats.
Yep.
I mean, we're going to talk about that, children's stories inherently were always fucked. I mean, look at any grim fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Little Mermaid died and turned into sea foam.
Because, when you have a 1 in 10 chance of the kid actually coming out and, surviving the winter, you want to make sure it does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's hey, if you hear something outside, probably don't go out there because it's -20 and there are bears.
Welcome to the Revenant.
Oh, you're not scared of bears? Okay, let's imagine let's have this big, scary, rapey goat man who takes kids and puts them in a sack and roasts them over a fire. We'll call him Krampus.
Krampus.
So yeah, so you hear the chains rattling outside. It's not the pigs we're waiting to slaughter. No, it's an evil goat demon who will take your Christmas presents and shove them up your ass.
You've been naughty today.
It'll be a very scary Christmas.
Very, very, very scary Christmas.
I'm starting to think that Krampus was actually just an excuse to get rid of the dumb kids that you didn't like.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's like, well, this one didn't turn out quite well. Throw it into the pond.
He's dead, Jim.
Oh no, the water horse got him. Ooh.
The water horse.
Oof. We aren't even in Scotland. We're in the Middle East. I don't care. Water horse got him. Sploosh.
It's all interconnected. Why do you think we see the same dinosaur monster in every which place?
Right.
Just one giant tunnel under the ground. So, but yeah, Disney with the children. You were saying that earlier.
Yeah, pretty much all their movies are adaptations of foreign stories.
And I'm going to actually use this as a springboard to say something that I've thought for a long time, and this might be unpopular opinion. For as enjoyable as the movie is overall, it infuriates me how much they Christianized Hercules in the Disney movie.
Christian. What do you mean?
It's the way that they portray Zeus and Hades and Hercules and the whole god dynamic and literally, the muses refer to it as the gospel truth.
All right, and they had the hand in praise.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the thing about a lot of old-timey religions. Sometimes the gods were just dicks.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a good or evil spectrum. Like Loki and Thor worked together all the time in Norse mythology. Like the time that frost giants wound up stealing Mjolnir, and the only way to get it back was to offer a pair of lovely Aesir god maidens to the giant as tribute. So Thor and Loki decided to spontaneously change their gender and marry themselves off to the giants to get the hammer back and kill them all.
Yes.
And then there was a time when Loki cut off Thor's wife's hair, and then Thor beat the fuck out of him until he gave it back.
Yeah. Just,
Another time, Zeus turned into a swan and raped someone's wife. It's a weird place.
oh, Zeus.
Oh, that's not even the best time. There was a time he just turned into a golden shower.
Oh my god. Zeus.
Interpret that as you will.
Zeus, I'ma fuck it. No, Zeus! I'ma do it!
I'm fucking... No, Zeus, don't do that. Too late, I actually fucked it yesterday. I was just gauging to see your disappointment. Damn it! What are you going to do to stop me? I am Zeus.
Yeah.
Well, I could build a lightning rod to get rid of your... Curse you!
The Greek mythology, Hades was not Satan. That's like the grand
Hades
common
is funny.
misconception. It's
Hades is funny because he's the one, like, monogamous god.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's genuinely, like, as far as like interpersonal relationships go, he's really the best god.
I have my one girl and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. So what if I kidnapped her? She's cool with it now.
She's into it. Turned out she was into it. What do you know?
Nothing
I
makes
find
a
it-
good relationship like a good dose of Stockholm.
You see, I planned to chain her up to the wall until someone paid the ransom, and then she just asked me to make it tighter.
And then, of course, there's
Who
the
would
fact
have
that
known Persephone was in the BDSM?
Well,
They should
there's
have
a lot
called
to
her
be
per
said about
honor
that, I
means.
think.
I sneezed on it.
Yeah. Thank you, Bubby.
I sneezed on it, therefore it's mine.
Then there's the fact that he named his dog Spot.
Yeah.
That's just pure and wonderful.
Are we?
On an old world related note, I am really upset that the mid-ocean wave was not called Norman Father.
Ah. I had to like matrix my foot away from your back as you were falling.
We've turned
Phew.
history tropes now.
Yeah, right. Overly
I mean-
Sarcastic Productions will be proud of us.
Yeah.
Great channel, by the way. Quick little shout out.
Yes.
Shout it.
Honestly, I think the less we structure these, the more fun they turn out to be.
Yeah,
'Cause then
yeah,
we can just go
seriously, yeah.
on and on and on and on. The fun never ends.
On and on and on and on.
The other.
Oh,
Never
next,
achievement
I can't
hunter.
wait for
Yeah.
next week, though.
What happened?
But okay, so while we've got nothing else being discussed, I'll take this opportunity to bring up something else that, just because I want to bring this up. Ellie and I have discovered a show on Hulu
Oh
that
yeah.
I want to talk about. For story adaptation. If you have Hulu, I strongly suggest you look up a show called Judah. It is an Israeli vampire comedy drama show. And it's amazing. We're
it's
only like an
great.
episode and a half in, but it is amazing.
It's funny.
It's like, it's subtitled, but it's like 80% Hebrew, 10% English, 10% Romanian.
Yep.
And from what we can glean about it, the whole premise of the show is... Thank you, Yokai. Yes. The whole premise of the show is that one of the vampires accidentally turns this Israeli guy into a vampire, and vampires apparently have a rule that you can't turn Jews into vampires because they predate Christianity, and that makes them immune to all of the vampire weaknesses.
And it's literally like a prophecy that if a Jew becomes a vampire, it is the end of vampire existence.
For some reason. Because you create Blade, you create a vampire with all of your strengths and none of your weaknesses, and that will bring about vampire apocalypse, which, by the way, sounds like an amazing sci-fi of the week movie.
We call that
Vampire
Snake Land.
apocalypse. Velocipaster.
But yes,
That's for next week.
Yeah.
But boy, am I going to rant about it.
Oh no! Next week is going to be the villains.
Oh yeah.
Next week is villains. The week
Then
after
the week
that
after
is
that.
the sci-fi movie of the what the fuck
I will
movies.
fume for another week
Yeah.
then.
We can spend that week doing research.
Next week will be my favorite week though, because I get to talk about my things like Diva, Shao Kahn, and other things.
Good villains.
Good villains. Actually, because
villains.
I walked in while you were talking about Mortal Kombat, and today at work before I left, they were showing the Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
The day your father died was the most important day of your life, but to me, it was Tuesday.
Remember, kids, Sabrina and Shao Kahn are related.
Yes.
No, it's Sabrina and fuck was it Shang Tsung,
Oh, Shang Tsung, yeah, Shang Tsung.
which they
they're
brought back
cousins.
that actor to play Shang Tsung in the new game.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Didn't they get the
But,
same?
yes.
What was that like YouTube series for Mortal Kombat that they did? They got the same actor for him also.
Oh,
Mortal Kombat Chronicles or something like that.
Machinima.com.
Machinima. I always
Machinima.com did a whole...
Mortal
thing
Kombat
about that.
series.
Yeah.
And it was great, actually.
It was actually really good. Well, they kind of grounded it-ish in reality, but then it started splitting into the whole multi-dimensional thing.
Yeah. But I wanted to take a cue from their storytelling design, and I was writing like really. I started writing like a couple of short scripts because I wanted to do something with the same premise with Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, we had like a modernization of that.
Yeah, we just never did anything with it.
Yeah.
But I still got the script somewhere.
Hey,
Little
The
movie
Breed.
Called The Breed.
I remember The Breed.
Character who was a Jewish vampire. I'm not sure I know that.
I do remember The Breed.
Huh.
The Breed from 2001. I think that might be on Netflix still.
I'll have to look into that.
You could easily find it on YouTube. I know that for a
Yeah.
fact.
I don't know why, but you saying The Breed reminded me of something else. It was like something like some sort of spawning movie thing where there was like rapey fish monsters from the sea. It was something from the 70s.
They
It was
came
fucking-
from within.
Yeah, it was some sort of thing where like there were like sort of like shadow over Innsmouth sort of monsters like popping up in like a state fair on a beach or something,
Weird.
and like their goal was to impregnate all the women.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so do I. I just can't put my finger on it.
It's
It
not
came
the one
from
that Mystery
Jones
Science
Lake.
did.
Oh, God.
The one with the lake was not like Zebo, something with a Z. I remember that one.
I know what you're talking about. Oh, wait, wasn't there a TV show that you're talking about?
I swear I know this movie.
Sorry, that reminded me of a TV show where like there was a lake and like they were impregnating the women and all that.
Humanoids from the Deep.
Ah,
Yes. One of the great, like, C-grade sci-fi horror movies.
I remember that. But now I'm thinking of that TV show. I can't remember what it was called. It was like an alien invasion TV show, and they had to go to a lake, and there were like these like fucking weird jellyfish things that lived in the lake.
Again, I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't.
I think it was literally called The Invasion. Like, that was the name of
Might
it.
have been.
And then there was the one-off that never got off the ground, V. The reimagining of
The
one.
reimagining of V, which is unfortunate because the old, what was it, a 70s show, I think? That was good.
Yeah.
Actually, my aunt really likes that that show.
It's funny because they, after like the new one came out, they started playing the original old one
Yeah.
alongside it so people could like watch it.
The attempts to reproduce, even America failing to reproduce their own crap is astounding. I remember I only saw like one commercial for it, but it's stuck in my mind. back in like the 60s or 70s, there was a old cop show called Ironside, and it was about
Oh,
a
yeah.
cop in a wheelchair. They were going to recreate that, and I remember seeing one commercial for it. The pilot never even aired. They pulled it after the commercial. It was like, but yeah.
Bobo with a shotgun.
I mean, there with a shotgun. That's not even. No, that was a foreign movie, wasn't it?
Hobo with a shotgun? I
Nope.
have no idea.
I think that what? No.
No.
No. That was literally just an idea that just came out of somebody's mind.
Like rubber.
Oh God, Robert.
The telekinetic tire.
Yeah.
What do you even say about that movie?
We're just talking about bad movies in general now.
That's supposed to be 2 weeks from now. Save that. Save it. But yeah, more failed at it. But the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is how much we pull from like England
Yeah.
for our programming. You know, The Office. Most people I think realize that The Office was originally a British show.
Or House of Cards.
House of Cards was a British show. Yeah. One of my favorite shows is called Coupling, and they tried to make an American version of that, and it didn't last past the pilot. But the British show is amazing.
Mm.
What? Now the curious thing is that with its popularity, especially spanning across both Great Britain and America, why didn't America ever try to do Doctor Who?
It's just part of the identity. It's kind of hard to replicate.
I mean, fair enough, but
I think the reason why Doctor Who has appeal in America is actually because it's easier to make the Doctor feel like he's an alien being if he has a British accent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there is that. He's like, I think they did. No, they never did it like an American Doctor Who. I mean, that kind of was what Torchwood was, because the main character was the American
I guess, yeah.
in the show. And they kind of that was their appeal to American audiences.
And Torture was supposed to be like a spin-off of
Oh yeah,
so.
but was Dollhouse another?
Dollhouse was Joss Whedon. That was
Right. Okay.
No,
I'm thinking of like similar shows that
Yeah.
were adaptations.
Because I spent a lot of today trying to think about like adaptations, and I had to stop and think about it. And like, wouldn't James Bond be perfect to talk about? Like, no, every James Bond movie I think is an American product, even though James Bond, the story itself, is British.
Yeah, more or less. More or less.
Yeah. And then you can make argument for whether or not like any Americanized sketch comedy show after Monty Python is just a ripoff from there.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of wish that there was more of an appreciation of really, really low-end British humor, like Bottom.
Mm.
Because that's basically just live-action Tom and Jerry. You have a couple of guys that are just assholes beating the fuck out of each other on a daily basis. Like the first episode I saw, like a guy was trying to do something alone in his room without being bothered. His roommate kept trying to bother him. His solution was when the roommate opened the door,
Oh yeah,
he,
the IT
Crowd.
he blowtorched his dick.
He blows what?
Yes, he was pull out a blowtorch and set his crotch on fire. And then the guy had to run into the living room and get on the table and stick his groin into a like a fish pot or like a potted plant or something. And so he looked like he was humping the potted plant right as the neighbors walked in.
Fantastic.
The IG Crowd. Black Books, you remember that?
I love Black Books.
I think they tried to do an American version
Did they
of that. Yeah.
They did try to do an American version of IT Crowd.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And that
Did you try turning it on and off again?
But I don't remember them ever trying to do an American version of Black Books. Did they?
Yeah, they did. It didn't last though.
No, I imagine it wouldn't have
It
lasted.
disappeared. It kind of vanished off the face of the earth there. But yeah, I do remember that. IT Crowd.
Great show.
Oh yeah, Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf is
Red
British,
Dwarf.
yes, but we never tried to copy it. We had enough space sci-fi shows going on that we didn't need to try and copy Red Dwarf.
I think wasn't Red Dwarf kind of going around the same time Farscape was?
I think Farscape and also Babylon 5, I think they had like, or one of the
Oh,
versions
God,
of Babylon 5, they had like an overlap.
I think I know the difference between why there were. Actually, I think I remember hearing stories now from a couple of podcasts where there were originally American companies trying to do like American versions of stuff like The Young Ones or Bottom or like Red Dwarf, but it turned out that the idea of not having a moral high ground character, having just all the characters be just bitter and cynical, didn't resonate with American investors.
Eh.
I can
Like
believe that.
like there was like a business meeting. It's like, all right, we're gonna do an American version of Bottom. It's like, okay, who is the hero? There is no hero in Bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that sounds like an American thing to do.
Yep, because it's like, I mean, look at the way that most like any movie is from Hollywood. It's like, here is your hero person. Here is their good moral quandary thing. Here is their love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how mean the bad guys are. They're just kind of greedy and mean, despite us being greedy, mean people who exploit our actors.
Oh my
Captain
God.
Planet?
By our powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Yeah, just the heavy-handed symbolism of greed.
Do it.
I will turn this into a beautiful parking lot.
Porking.
Pork chop sandwiches.
Get the fuck out of here!
Oh, my back.
Get the fuck out.
Oh,
Get
my
out.
back
Get
hurts
the
again,
fuck
yes.
out of here. Well, I think that's all we have to really cover for this, because there's, I mean, personally, I there's not a whole lot of foreign films that I've
Well, I mean,
really
if
personally watched.
we could like dive into the individual, like the horror movies that we listed, but I mean, it's really just the same problem throughout all of them.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know, we the American version of it is, you know, just smack you in the face with the horror instead of trying to tell a story. I mean, the thing that we could talk about is what made The Ring work better.
Yeah.
Compared to the other ones. I mean, especially comparing The Ring and The Grudge, because I mean, a lot of people like to lump those together.
I mean, they are both the same sort of concept.
Yeah.
They're both Onryos. They're both the vengeful spirit who haunts a place and fucks with people.
Yeah, but The Ring worked
Both
better.
adorable!
God.
I'm sorry, Wifey and I watched the original Ju-on like group of movies, like the original Japanese movies.
Yeah.
And it was just so cute. I know it's like we can see where the horror is supposed to happen, but because we played so much Killer Instinct, now every time we see an Onryo character, it's like, aw, it's a waifu. She's adorable. I will take her home and give her head pats and crackers. And I will make her feel safe and loved and happy.
So then, for your opinion, what made The Ring work best out of all of them?
I think it's because they had the element of mystery, as well as there was just that I know it kind of sounds like harkening back to the no-win situation, but it's like, well, it's very hard to get rid of the curse of Sadako. So there was that dread.
Yeah.
It's like, you know something's going to happen at some point. Someone is going to die. You don't know who or when. You just have that countdown. It's like, is the main character going to get it in time? Are they going to spread it? Is it going to get someone else? And you just watch and wait and anticipate. And you just have this slow countdown. It's like day 1.
Yeah, we
2,
did.
Yeah.
3, 4. And you just have this building dread. It's like, something's coming. She's coming. You gotta figure it out. And even though they think they figured it out, they don't.
No, and another point that you had brought up too with the subtlety was that video, while not maybe you can argue that, you know, the tape itself was not subtle. It was the fact that it was there was nothing about the video that really bashed you over the head either. It was just creepy imagery for the sake of the creepy imagery to tie everything together.
It's like, oh look, this tape is haunted and creepy. This seems like something that someone would throw together as a college project to scare people.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it becomes real. Then you realize, I might have seen something like this. Then you get that thing, that nagging feeling in the back of your head, where your suspension of disbelief slowly turns into belief, just in the back of your mind. In the wee hours of the night, when you look over your shoulder and you think you see something, or you hear something. Like, I remember there was one night, there was a really unfortunate circumstance when I watched a scary movie or something, and then my brother got whooping cough.
Yeah.
That fucking terrified me, because it wasn't like a regular, like, ugh, ugh. It was, I just all of a sudden hear someone in the room just, woo! And then little 6-year-old me just, or not like a little 8-year-old me just bolts out of the room like, fuck.
Did you get that thing I sent you?
I'm not sure I did.
During Fluff's monologue, this is the part where if we're going to edit the video, we have just like somebody just quick blurp like in between frames, like standing there between us.
Hello.
Well, I mean, it had some stay power, because I don't know about anybody else, but I mean, I can't look at like a static screen on a TV anymore without getting even the slightest chill.
That's the thing that I love when a movie does something really right, when they can take a fantasy concept and introduce it to your mind in such a way that it sticks.
Yeah.
And then subtly, like before, like you saw like a lot of stuff with creepy animatronic like stuff like Five Nights at Freddy's, a lot of people wouldn't have had the same discomfort or fear around animatronics, but they were introduced to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and that's when you know something's done it well, because it's takes something that's stupid. You know it's stupid.
Yes.
But now it's terrifying you.
Completely innocuous. It's always the easiest, simplest things that get turned into the most horrifying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where Japanese horror does especially well, where it's like all these Japanese legends, it's like there's this little invasion of privacy. Yeah. Something is following you. No one else can see it. It's following you.
Yeah. I mean, they have something about, like, if you have a crack on your wall, that's like a portal for demons to get into your home.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's the simplest things that suddenly become the most terrifying ideas. And you, like, for anybody that happens to have that, like, random crack on their bedroom wall now, and you're just going to keep staring at it, and you can't do anything about it. But on a related topic to that, we had this happen. I told you about this, Ellie, after we saw, what was it? I think it was Insidious.
Oh, yeah.
Or was it? No, not Insidious. What's the stupid one with the keys that they did?
That was part of the Insidious.
Was it
movies,
Insidious?
yeah.
Okay, so Insidious was the one that had the what I call the SpongeBob demon, right? Where tiptoe through the tulips.
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw the first one while we were in college. We were making fun of we riffed it with our friend Chris. We talked about that. Before we just sat there and laughed hysterically at this movie because the demon wasn't scary. Tiptoe Through the Tulips isn't scary. It's, it just sounded like SpongeBob was coming to attack you.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
So then one day I'm at my mom's house, and my mom's house's layout. The base, the dining room leading to the bathroom at the top of the stairs to my basement. That whole area is just kind of creepy. There's just like an air about it that yeah. So
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So I chose to walk. I usually, because even to this day, it still creeps me out walking through that dining room to that bathroom. I would always turn on the dining room light. This one time in particular, there was a fair bit of light coming in through the dining room window, so I decided to walk through without turning the light on. Get about halfway down the hall of the dining room, and all of a sudden, Tiptoe Through the Tulips enters my mind, and I freeze in place. And I just stop and think to myself, well played, movie. Well played.
Well, there was also that one time that we were over your house and you had that freaking
The harp?
No, I told that story already.
We did tell that story, but
no, when we, we were talking, you walk into the room and the fucking car toy goes off.
Oh, fucking that possessed Cars toy. I don't know what the fuck this thing's problem was. Yeah, my stepdad for one of my nephews got a it was like like from like one of the Cars movie, the Disney car movies.
Yeah.
It was this like racetrack that was supposed to, you're supposed to set up two of the cars, you like flipped a little thing, and then they like raced down the track, and the first one to cross the finish line, it would set off like a sensor that would make the toy talk. And this thing was so sensitive that any little vibration that it felt would register the sensor to go off and start talking. And it was like but it was like we had it like up and elevated and tried to keep it out of the way as much as possible so that nothing would set it off, because when it was on the floor, it would pick up all the time. It was annoying as hell. And then, what was it? I think I came back from the bathroom one time, and I just walked into the room, and then all of a sudden, somebody's a racer.
Yeah, like you just like walked, because it was like at the corner of the hallway, and you walked from like your kitchen back into the room, and I'm standing there, and like, as soon as you like literally like get next to it, it went off, and we both looked at it and were like, no,
shut up,
no, stop that. But yeah, I think we pretty much covered what we need to cover.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that in-depth.
Cover yourselves, girls.
It wasn't that in-depth a talk, but I mean, what are you going to say? American versions tend to suck. That really kind of covers it.
I mean, there's one topic I could venture into a little bit, and that's what happens when, like, Japanese people get a hold of Western ideas.
Yeah.
When it goes the other way around. Because then you get, like, when Japan figured out, like, a lot of stuff, started getting a hold of things for, like, medieval stuff and Christianity-related themes, you get things like Evangelion, Berserk, Dark Souls, cool shit.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about that in Anime Test Run when we did 7 Deadly Sins.
Oh, yeah. You can check that out on our YouTube.
Yeah, on Unlockable Content, you can see Anime Test Run and all of these videos from the streams. So subscribe, share, tell your friends. We love you all. Thank you for tuning in.
Whoop, 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 whoop.